Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. Now, I don't think you guys have ever seen me, in the comic book room with a hat on, but I am wearing this hat for a reason. If you watch the hunting videos, you know that I am always rocking a white cap. And it's because, for whatever reason, I love white hats. And so on the weekends, I'm always throwing on a white hat, or if I'm not working, that is, and I'm out doing things, I always have on a white cap. And so for that reason, I decided that I was actually going to get myself a new cap. But because I'm always thinking about the channel and things that I can do that are a little different, a little fun, I decided to get a Regie Collects white cap. And so that is what I'm wearing right now. It is actually a branded cap. I'm actually testing the cap out, trying to make sure that I like the fit and all that kind of stuff, making sure that it wears well. So I'll probably be rocking this for a couple of weeks, just trying to get a feel for whether I like this style or whether I want to do something else. And I'm trying to get used to the style, especially because I've been wearing like the same style cap for a couple of years now. It feels different on my head. And I'm also probably going to make this logo a little bit bigger. I've been playing around with the design, so I think I'm going to go a little bit bigger on the next version. But again, just a cool little thing that I decided to do for the channel. At some point, if it all works out, I'll be offering these up to you guys. So stay tuned for that. So the purpose of this video is to show you a couple of AOKs that have made their way here to me. In fact, there's actually 3 of them. 2 of them, I don't really have a clue what's inside, but the third, I actually know what's in it. I've already unboxed it and kind of looked at it, so there's no surprise there. But the other 2 will be a surprise, and I think all 3 actually come with a letter. I tend to tell people, if you send me something, just put a note in there so I know, you know, who it came from, because oftentimes the books or whatever get separated from the packaging because of how I do things here in the room. So the note allows me to at least kind of keep things together and to stay somewhat organized. So the first stack of books, and it's actually a pretty large stack of books, actually comes from Joe. And Joe sent over to me, like I said, a nice stack of books. And he says, I bought a great box of comics for almost nothing. There were also some amazing Spider-Man in there I included to help you as fillers for your run. Give the rest away as a giveaway, or do with it as you feel. I enjoy your show and our conversations. And again, this comes from Joe, who cites that comic karma is real. Yes, indeed it is. So shout out to Joe for hooking me and you to some degree up with this nice stack of books. So I'm going to run through this. He actually sent over 3 copies of X-Men number 25. And for those that don't know, there's actually 3 different versions of X-Men 25. There is a blue hologram, a green hologram, and a gold hologram. And I think that the gold is the more rare, if you will, the more rare of the 90s books. It also has a higher value associated with it. The gold is, I want to say Go Collect had it at a 9.8, like $170, which isn't bad. And then the price falls off as you go towards the green and then the blue for whatever reason. And I guess it's because of rarity. I'm honestly not sure. I didn't dig that deep into it. But what Joe sent over to me was the blue and the green. So there are 2 blues and then 1 green. But it's actually, again, it's one of those really cool things that they used to do back in the 90s that I actually dig. And so this is actually a really cool book. So shout out to Joe for hooking us up with those. I'm probably going to keep the green one. The blue ones I will pass on. He also hooked me up, and he actually sent me a photo of this. He had a huge stack of this particular book. It is Bloodshot number 1. He actually sent over 4 copies of Bloodshot number 1, and they are actually not in bad shape. I don't think that any of them are 9.8s. I need to look at one of them a little closer. It might be like a 9.6, but they're actually in solid shape. For a black book, for a comic from the 90s, they are actually in fantastic shape. They're not 9.8s, but it doesn't matter. But they're really, really cool books, especially in light of Vin Diesel's portrayal of this character. I actually enjoyed the trailer. I know a lot of people, had mixed emotions about the trailer because he didn't have the circle on his chest, etc., etc. I like Vin Diesel, and I think he's going to play a fantastic Valiant character. And I'm actually keeping my fingers crossed, to be honest with you, that Valiant kills it. To my knowledge, Valiant actually has a 5-movie deal. And only 3 of the movies have kind of sort of been announced. And I am hopeful that this first one, The Bloodshot, kills it. If it kills it and it works well, I'm hoping that we actually see more of the Valiant characters come to the screen. So the next book he sent over, a couple of Amazing Spider-Man, as you heard from the letter, is Amazing Spider-Man 334. Really cool book right there. Here is Amazing Spider-Man 335. And I actually have all of these. So every one of these books in some way, shape, or form is going to find its way back to the community. Here is 336. Here is 330. Here is 340. He actually hooks me up and actually put these in order. So shout out to him for doing that. These next couple, actually, at least this one, is a Mark Bagley cover. 355. This is when Punisher and Night Thrasher and Spider-Man were like all crossing over with one another back in the 90s. Here is 390. Really cool book right there. And you might be asking yourself, how do these books find their way back to the comic book community? So they often find their ways back. Honestly, when someone buys something from me, I tend to throw in an extra book. And then I also do like impromptu giveaways in live streams and also on the community tab, where it's like the whole thing is I just want it to be just a little bit of a surprise, a little bit of a give back. And sometimes there are people that will send me AOKs, and I will take comics from someone else that have been given to me. I will box them up and I will send them right back out to someone else. And so there's lots of different ways that these books find their way back to the comic book community. He also hooks me up with a couple of copies of X Factor 92. And I think this is the first appearance of Husk, if memory serves. He sent 2 copies of this, and this one also has that really cool holographic cover, and I think there's a couple of different versions of this one, but unlike the X-Men number 25, there are no differences in the values of the different colors of the holograms. Don't ask me why, it is what it is. And if someone knows, please tell me, because I honestly have not dug into it, and maybe you guys have a little bit more insight than I. Here is a really cool book. This is a cool book. X-Men number 4. That is a cool one right there. Here is X-Men number 8. A newsstand copy of that. He also sent this fantastic red cover, The Avengers West Coast. This is issue number 100. And then the very last book from my man Joe is another newsstand. It is Amazing Spider-Man 269. So huge shout out to Joe for hooking me up with some pretty awesome books, and fingers crossed, maybe one of those Bloodshots will come back at a 9.8. You never know. But someone out there is going to walk away with a couple of these books. So definitely stay tuned to the channel, because again, we'll be doing some impromptu stuff because it's fun to do. So this next one comes from Scotty Fu. My man Scotty Fu, he did the Saran wrap. You can tell this dude watches my videos. And he sent me a note on a backing board, which is something that I am a huge fan of. He says, Reggie, here are the AOK books I discussed with you. 2 Amazing Spider-Man signed by the best father and son duo to ever work on Spider-Man. Hint. It's not J.J. and Henry Abrams. He says, history, 1 book was purchased directly off of the website at the time of release. The second was signed in person at Baltimore Comic-Con 2020. It may benefit from a pressing. Thanks again for all of your hard work and all of the content you bring to us, Swole-Just. He says, hope these books can find a spot in your collection, my friend. Godspeed on completing your Amazing Spider-Man run. We are kind of sort of 1 book away still from completing like the 1 through 441. We made a lot of progress on this run over the last couple of months. So the rest of the run is still, it's still a work in progress. We will get there. There is no rush, but we will absolutely get there. But Scotty Fu, shout out to you, brother, for sending me over a couple of books. Definitely appreciate this. And if anyone's curious, I actually save all of these letters. I save all of them. I actually have a folder sitting over there. It's a red folder. And I actually put all of the letters that people send me, or cards or sketches, if they're little sketches. My man Matthew actually sends me a couple little sketches. I keep all of that stuff in a folder over here because I think it's cool. I think it's cool stuff. So, oh wow. Whoa, Scotty. Goodness gracious. Okay. So Scotty sent over, let's start with this one. Scotty sent over, and I need to check my records. I'm not sure if I have this one. This is Amazing Spider-Man 549, and it is signed by John Romita, and I'm guessing John Romita Sr. It is book number 154 out of 1500. And he says, Dynamic Forces has issued the certificate, Amazing Spider-Man 549, as one of a specially limited series of 1,500 copies that are signed by John Romita. There's a little certificate on the backside, and that's the comic right there. Cool book. That is very cool. And the John Romita, man, I love this guy. But the other book, is Amazing Spider-Man 238, signed by John Romita Jr. That is really cool. I actually have a copy of this, but I do not have a signed copy, and I certainly don't have one that was actually given to me by a subscriber. So, Scotty, thank you, brother. That is appreciated, my man. And these books will find a spot in the collection. So shout out to you, man. I definitely appreciate that. That is very cool. And he is right. As I'm looking at it in the light, it can use a press, but you know what? I can press all of those defects out. And if you haven't seen my pressing videos, I definitely want to encourage you to check those out because they are helpful. That is awesome. Wow. I did not expect that. So that is an awesome surprise. So we're going to open up this last one here, and it says, read me. Enclosed is Red Sun 1, 2, and 3. And here's the thing. Now that I'm reading the letter, I actually bought these books. I bought Red Sun 1, 2, and 3 because a couple of you, I think at least 5 of you, recommended that I read this book. And I think this subscriber, Jeff, actually saw those videos where you guys were recommending it. I said that I was going to read it. He reached out to me and he said, hey, I have the books. Are you interested? We worked out a deal, and the books have arrived. He says, I also included a mystery comic for you. These were purchased, these books, and this is part of what really caught my attention when Jeff reached out to me. He says, these were purchased by my father and me one day when we were walking around a local comic shop. So he was actually collecting comics with his father. His father has since passed on, and he has the collection. The father, I think, continued to collect after Jeff lost interest when he was a younger person. And the father continued to collect. The father ended up passing on, and now Jeff has the collection. So he says, I know for sure that these are going to a good home, and someone, that's me, that will cherish these much like my father did. I am excited for you that one day when you can share this great hobby, collecting comics with your kids. Take care, buddy. That is awesome. That is all. And I'm going to tell you this, the story that Jeff shared with me about his father touched me on so many different levels. Yeah. All right. So let's open this up. He packed it up. Some painter's tape in here. People oftentimes ask me why I use painter's tape. There are many reasons, and maybe I'll do a video on it at some point. But Jeff hooked it up. He put some painter's tape on here. He sandwiched it between some cardboard. So we're gonna peel all this stuff away and check out what's inside. And again, we know what 3 of the books are: Red Sun 1, 2, and 3. And I'm actually looking forward to reading these. I did not realize that Red Sun was actually a square-bound book. It wasn't until Jeff actually reached out to me and showed me photos of these books that I realized that it was a square-bound comic. So that was not that it matters, but I did not realize that. So we are going to open these things up. Here is Red Sun. I don't know what number this is. I don't know what number that is. There's no numbers on these. That's interesting. So here is a, let's just call it a Red Sun book. I'm not seeing any numbers. There is a Red Sun book. Again, a square bound comic. Here is another one of the covers. The covers are actually really cool. To me, they almost look Russian for some reason or another. And here is another cover. Three of them. I guess it's a mini series, at least 3 parts of it. But these covers are interesting to me. They I don't know. They just give me a Russian vibe for some reason or another. And I don't know the story, but maybe that's why they look the way that they do. And then here is the book that I have not looked at that he included as an AOK. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. What if, number one, the X-Men? I've never seen this before. It's looks like Domino and Cable. I've never seen this cover before. That's cool. So I don't know much about this book at all. I've literally never seen this cover. Oh, it says, what if the X-Men were, I guess, in error? I guess that's what that's saying. Here, if you can look here, I think that's what that's trying to say. What if the X-Men were in error? Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Well, Jeff, brother, thank you very much. I appreciate you reaching out to me and sharing the story about your father, giving me an opportunity to pick up a couple of books from his collection to add to my collection. They're books that I actually wanted to read, so that's really cool. And then thank you for the extra token of appreciation. So I say this all the time, and I really do mean it. I have honestly some of the best subscribers out there, not just because they send me AOKs and stuff like that, but because people also send me really wonderful emails and letters and direct messages and things like that, because people, incorporate me and the videos that I create into their daily lives. There's a lot of people that watch me on the way to work or the way home, and I think that's really cool. A couple of people have shared some really interesting stories with me where they've lost people, and or they've had some tough times in life, and my videos in some way, shape, or form have actually helped them through a tough day or a tough time or whatever it happens to be. And that's why I say that I have some of the best subscribers around, because you guys are awesome. So I want to thank you for being part of what I'm trying to do here at the channel. Thank you for the wonderful comments. Thank you for the AOKs. Thank you for the letters and the emails and the direct messages and all that kind of stuff. And definitely thank you for the thumbs up that you're going to leave on this video. Thank you for the comments that you're going to leave behind so we can mix it up in the comment section. If you need to reach out to me for whatever reason, don't hesitate to do so. You can find me at RegieCollects on Instagram. Take care.